All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, welcome to Afrique 24-hour TV. This is Afrique, and this is our daily political talk show. Of course, today is that day. Today is the day that most Kenyans have been waiting for. Yeah, people have been telling William Ruto that you are having an incompetent cabinet. We are having an incompetent government. But today, true to his words, the president did promise that he's going to reorganize the government. So the process of reorganizing the government began today when the president publicly dissolved the entire cabinet except the office of the deputy president and the office of the prime cabinet secretary. So all the CS was sent home except Musalia Mudavadi and Rigathi Gachagua. So the question that Kenyans are asking is, what next now that the president have dissolved the cabinet? Yeah, karibu sana. I can see Rameso Yegon Microban ameshajitokeza. So join this conversation. Of course, you can be able to use the comment section there so that you can let me know where you are joining from, your concerns, your views on these, your views on this kind of conversation. But before that, I'll give you the highlights of how it happened. And of course, there is a conversation in X space by the General Migona trying to explain to Kenyans what is going to happen next. He's speaking as an expert, as a barrister, and such kind of thing. So let me take you back to 2005 when Mwai Kibaki did the same thing. So have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Karibuni lakini.
Fellow Kenyans, following Republic to reorganize my government to serve the people of Kenya. Accordingly, in accordance with the powers conferred upon me under the Constitution of Kenya, I have directed that the offices of all ministers and all assistant ministers become vacant. Consequently, the occupants of the said offices cease the event will be in place within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I think you've heard that. That is the former president Mwai Kibaki, when he also did the same. He did dissolve the parliament. That is after the referendum that the government, side lost when they are voting for and against the new constitution in 2005. After losing to the people who voted no, the government had to be dissolved, and Kibaki did an honorable thing and dissolved his government. I've told you that what is going to happen. We are asking the questions, what is going to happen next. So before we start our conversation, of course, we're going to have this conversation throughout the night. So before we start this conversation, I just want to take this opportunity to take you to, to X space, where there's a conversation taking place on what next. Then, of course, after that, we are going to have a conversation. Of course, we'll take you step by step how we started and how we found ourselves here. And you'll remember, even before the Gen Z demonstrations, there have been some problems, some visible problems in this government as far as the coordination is concerned. You've even had the deputy president accusing some of the CS and cabinet secretaries accusing for sabotaging the government and something like that. So William Ruto might have taken advantage of the situation to do what he feared doing. Maybe he knew, and he comfortably said at one point that he's having an incompetent cabinet whereby he knows more than what the cabinet secretary does, but he did not have the balls. He didn't have the balls like to tell them that no, I'm now dissolving the cabinet. But you've taken advantage of the situation, what is taking place currently, and have decided to dissolve the parliament. So not the parliament, sorry, but to dissolve his cabinet. So let me just take you to X.
But today, we face a clueless, rudderless, leaderless, planless, disorganized opposition. But today, we face a clueless, rudderless, leaderless, planless, disorganized opposition.
Is the exact creation of what had been created by Uhuru on 5th of August 2021, when he and Raila brought in some weird additions to the commission. Now, this is a similar situation where now politicians are deciding who becomes the people who appoint commissioners.
Jose, land, please. Land.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I am sorry for going into tangents. But my point is, that's my contribution. I don't know that I'll be able to speak again, but all the best. Let's keep going. Marge, continue hosting as much as you can, and we will support you and continue engaging on this topic. Kenya, it has changed. From 25th of June, we have a new Kenya where the population is conscious, is no longer complacent, and that's a beautiful place to be.
Thank you so much. We move to Gen Z. Gen Z, over to you, and let's try to take 3 minutes each, so that because we have a lot of requests. Gen Z? Gen Z King, are you able to speak? Okay. Then we move to Mohammed. Sam, can you hear me?
Mohammed,
Gen Z,
maybe they can't hear you.
Yeah, Mohammed, Gen Z, can you hear the host? Gen Z and Mohammed, can you hear the host? I don't think that maybe they have.
I don't think they hear you much, but not a problem. Maybe they can, Hannah, if they can hear you, let them maybe leave the space and come back, and they'll be given an opportunity again so that we can move forward. Back to you, Madge. Who is next?
I think Sam is trying to open his mic. Yes.
Yes, good evening.
Good
Can
evening.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please proceed.
Oh, great. First of all, I want to say that we have made a great move. However, I would say that this guy is very schematic. Because one, he already has the parliament at hand, which will vet the next team. And also, the PSs, who are actually the drivers of those institutions. So as far as I am concerned, I would say that we still have a long way to go in terms of accountability, because we also need now to look on the allocations of all those institutions and how money has been spent, and now all these cabinets or those former CSs now be put to land so that we can get back the money that they have misused back to our coffers. For now, I'll listen to you, then we shall continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to, there's another co-host still coming on board, Hillary, as you know, but I would like to introduce also a co-host that we have today, KDR TV News, that's Kibwato Omweri. Kindly introduce yourself before we proceed.
Thank you so much, Madam Marge. Most obliged to be part of this particular team. And today I'll definitely have to play an elderly role. And if there are any questions, I'll definitely chip in and help out. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Let's now proceed to Alfred and then Kevin in that order. Alfred cannot hear me. Kevin?
Alfred, can you hear me? Alfred Ochieng? It's your time. If you can't hear me, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, Kevin.
So, Kevin, please go. Otherwise, go to Mohammed. Those who cannot hear, we'll drop them and add other speakers. Let me drop, and those who've spoken to, remove. If I'm trying to remove you from the speaker and I, you know, in oversight, remove you from the mic, sorry, from the space, just have text me. Let's go. Jerry was on. Jerry, I just added you again. Take the mic directly. Okay, Jerry, you're next. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Marge. It's great to see the progress that's going on so far and what Gen Z has done. I'm not a Gen Z, I'm not a millennial. I'm actually in the Gen X at the borderline with the millennials. So I wanted to come in terms of perhaps what we need in terms of the list of things in terms of accountability. A lot of people have talked about how can we get these funds that have already been embezzled back to the treasury. People need to return those funds. So we need to push forward in terms of ensuring that money comes back, and that money can be utilized for other things. For example, education, health, higher education loans board. But another thing that I wanted to at least see in terms of the list of things that need to be on the demands is we have institutions in Kenya which are supposed to be performing their good governance or their accountability responsibilities, but they have failed totally. We have parliament, judiciary to a certain extent has also failed us. We have, for example, the Anti-Corruption Authority, and we need to demand that these institutions be cleaned up. We have the police as well in terms of protecting and providing security for the citizens of the country. So we need also to ensure that some of these institutions are also cleaned up. We don't want to just do these cosmetic changes, for example, the CASs, because if the institutions which are supposed to be providing the accountability and transparency and performing their responsibilities, they're not cleaned up, then in terms of the long term, will not have this sustainable, because people will just go to business as usual. Only that for now. I might come back later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for chiming in. We go now to Hannah, and then Eric, and then Macau, and graduate in that order.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Asante Sana. KD, RTV, and everybody else on the space. I don't know, for me, dissolving of the cabinet, for some reason, I take it with a pinch of salt. And I will say the reason why, because I'm not sure. The cabinet has been dissolved, but individually, would they crawl into other ministries? Are these guys going to find their way somewhere else? Zablon, if you don't mind, if you can go on mute, please. So for me, I take it with a pinch of salt, to be quite honest. Somebody's got their mic. I don't know. Zablon, please, if you could put your mic on mute.
Let me try to mute him. Yeah, he's muted now. Kindly proceed. He's opening a gate. Let me just mute. Okay, kindly proceed.
Yeah. So for me, because we've seen a lot of dodgy things over the years. So for me, I don't know. Did it really have to? Did it really have to take the Gen Zs to scream on top of their lungs, the demonstrations and everything? everything else that's gone, for him to actually dissolve that cabinet, because it was a good for nothing cabinet. People who were there, if you look at them individually, you would wonder, why would anybody choose a cabinet like that? The one person that I can actually talk about is the Kilifi county lady, Aisha Juma. I don't know, even her certificate of Form 4 has been forged. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's what the talk that is out there. What did she ever do? What has she ever accomplished for Kilifi County? Nothing other than a foul mouth, dancing on, giving us ladies a really bad name. So for me, I don't know, because he actually went beyond and above to put this cabinet together. And if you look at all of them individually, there is nobody who has a clean record. There is nobody who has not put his foot in the mouth while talking. There is nobody who hasn't lied. So I don't know, would these guys find themselves in other ministries? For me, I would say to everybody who's here and all the Kenyans, let's keep an eye on individuals. Yes, he has dissolved the cabinet, but let's keep an eye on those individuals. We have to stop them from crawling into other places. The rest of the things that he said, Maj, they're not here nor there. There's nothing substantial about it. And he has to stop calling for this press conferences when he knows people are going out there on the street. I don't know why he does that all the time. It's just to interfere with the demonstrations. But I say, Viva, kudos to Gen Zs. You've changed the face of politics. What you've achieved, trust me, it's nothing that has been achieved before. You've changed how people see politics. A lot of other parliaments in Africa are actually discussing you or on the floors of all the parliaments. So your echo is echoed around Africa. So kudos and thank you much.
Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, that's the feedback we keep receiving, where other African countries say, well, Kenya might not be in Africa, and there are many historical things that happened that we, of course, the deaths are, very unfortunate, and we have also other things that are very historical that happened. The Twitter space was not a good idea because, of course, that was something that's scripted. But nevertheless, we are the first country actually that managed to bring their head of state online. Phillips, kindly wait. And so there are many things that really happened there that are very historical, and we keep observing and hope that you're going to get to the right way. KDR TV, if you want to say something, just feel free to open the mic and chime in.
Thank you so much. Generally speaking, Maj and Madam Amna Ali, thank you for your insights and your contribution. What we are looking forward is a just society. Sorry. We are looking for a just society. Right now, as we are speaking, there are some young men who are abducted from Isiolo. I don't really have their information as we speak today. And we really need to know where those gentlemen or those young men were taken. Up to now, we saw the family really in anguish. The wife of one of the gentlemen is really in pain. She might even abort. So we really need this information.
Thank you so much for that reminder. Yegon, I can see you. Gypsy Kona, asanteni sana. I can see we are having Maandamano Kamili is also present. So Mama Maandamano Kamili, I don't know your reaction to what has happened today. The cabinet has been dissolved except the office of the deputy president and the office of the prime cabinet secretary. So you will also remember that sometime back in 2005, after the referendum that the government side lost, and the Kibaki felt that it is time for him to reorganize the government. So we've seen Ruto have also started the process of reorganizing the government. So I don't know your reaction, and maybe what do you think is going to happen next? Are we going to see competent faces, or we are still going to see the same people? Karibu.
Thank you, Leo. Great to see you, and thank you for all what is going on. It shows that there is something really moving on. And to the foremost, hicho kitendo ambacho kimefanyika siku ya leo, it's just a 1/8 of what is required to happen right now. Hawa si watu ambao walikuwa kwa kazi ya wananchi, na ni vizuri hata afadhali ufutwe kazi kwa sababu ya ugonjwa ama kwa hali ambayo watu hawawezi kukuhusisha na madhara ya maisha yao. Why am I saying this? Kila mtu ambaye ametoka hapo ako na swali la kujibu, ako na kesi ya kujibu. Wamefanya mambo ya kuwa kama hilo shamba walikuwa halina mwenyewe, ni wao wenyewe. Yeah. Wakaharibu maisha ya wananchi, wakaharibu nchi, not knowing that one day a day will come. But what I'm looking at is that there is nobody good. Yeah. In fact, as we had been watching these people, all of them, hata wale sio makabinet, they are all crooks. The whole government is polluted with a lot of mambo mbaya sana. Hiyo ni vile tu watu huwa wanasema samaki akioza kichwa unamtupa wote. That is how Kenya is right now. We don't need anybody there. The other thing I want to put, you see others are being fired na wengine nao wanatokelesha pandi hii ambao tunawajua style zao na tunawajua who they are, ati wanatokelesha pandi ingine nao ati waingie. Hata kabla hatujamaliza huo uchungu wa kwanza, wengine wamekuja tena wamesimama hapo. Where are they mushrooming from? Why? Kwanza mimi najiuliza kitu moja, Nyambaya. These people have no shame. Hawana aibu hata kidogo. Mnaangalia nashindwa, mnaona wale wengine ni kufutwa, wanafutwa kwa sababu ya makosa fulani. Wao hata wao hao wengine wanakuja hapo. They still have kashifa ambayo tunaweza washika nayo. Na bado wanajitokeleza, badala hata wajifiche, waseme sitatoa kichwa yangu saa hii, wacha niongoje huu moto uishie ndio nikuje. You see this kind of cannibalism. Yani wao hawajali, wanaona kama ni wasafi. Sisi hatujawashafisha, hatujaona usafi wao. Wanatokelesha hapo, hawana aibu hata kidogo. When fire is really hot, it's like just adding salt into injury. Hawataki tupumue, hawa wanaondoka, wengine wanatokelesha. Na si ati ni soldiers wa vita, ni watu wengine ambao hata wao wamekula, wameshiba na walikula hata hapo mbeleni, wako na kashifa na wanarudi kusimama hapo ati tunaongoja hao watoke, hawa ndio wabaya sana kuliko sisi, sisi tutaingia. We are saying drain the swamp. Everything. Tuanze mwanzo, tuone pahali tutakosea. Sisi tukijikosea kwa sababu sisi ndio employer, tutajilaumu. Lakini si nyinyi msitukosee, alafu wale wengine watolewe, wengine nao wajilete ati sisi ni wazuri. We don't see anybody good there who have ever tasted the political of the past. We want to have a new measure, new government with new blood, fresh blood. Na hiyo ndio tunataka. I am supporting Gen Z kwa sababu hakuna pale wamekosea. They are talking what should be happening in our country. Our country need to be greater than how it is, and it has gone to the drain, but we want to bring it back to make our country great again. Kwa hivyo huyu mtu hata hivyo anaongea anasema sijui nini sijui we don't care. Huyo Musalia Mudavadi first of all is unconstitutional. These two guys, I don't know even why they are connecting again after they have shamblied each and everyone. What they are trying to conspire, we don't want to know. They are the last lot to get out. That is my belief. The last lot to get out. Kwa sababu the swamp is being drained to the last drop. Wasijali nani atasimamia. In fact, we can rule ourselves. The way Gen Z stand for themselves all over the country. Why are they not? Why are they fighting? They are not. They are collaborating, and Kenya is going on. So even right now, I don't think we have any leader who is leading the country. We are leading ourselves. Remember that, Kenyans. We are leading ourselves. We don't have a leader. Huyo leader ambaye anajiita ni leader, he is sitting there confused. He don't know which way to go, whether to go through the window or through the door or through where. We are leading ourselves. So what is wrong? What is happening? Is there no peace? There is peace. We are leading ourselves. But when these people come out, that's when we have got chaos. And that is when we get abduction, killings, and torture. That is how it is. When we are at ourselves, we are peaceful. But when they come out, we have disarray country. So for me, Ruto must go.
Thank you. Wacha tumkaribishe Themba, tusikie Themba anasema aje. Nasikia Ramesh anasema some people are just irritating. Once the triplets are far gone, Ruto, Uhuru and Raila, then we might have our country back. That is according to Goodyear. Mudavadi's office generate nothing but advantage for himself, and he is untouchable. Why is Mudavadi untouchable? Gypsy Connor is saying that watch the space. Ruto will bring back his loyalists to gatekeepers. Nothing has changed. Proper distraction for now. Then the public will move on. Themba, karibu.
Thank you, Leo, and good evening.
Good evening too. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing good. I can't complain. And indeed, like we had said, that the pressure needs to keep going on, and it has happened. But Leo, like someone said, this is just cosmetic.
Okay.
Remember, Ruto is trying everything to quell the temperatures. And as even he's doing that, word has it that Ruto is an advice. He cannot be advised by people. So the problem was not basically this cabinet that he has dissolved. the fish is rotten from the head. It is believed that for some reason he rewarded his campaigners with a view, and I think one person who brought it so strongly was Bad in Parliament. He said most of these people were basically his political campaigners. So by the time he got into power, he decided to reward all of them, and not necessarily because they were going to do anything. They were just going to be there as flaggers. Largely what was going to be done in running the government was the advisors, the likes of David D and the rest. But even then, they were not even as influential. Why does it that Ruto knew everything, and for him, it is what he says which is final, and that's what Ruto has been all along. I mean, was it unexpected? No. I mean, if you go back to the campaign time, the idea of inefficiency in the people that were around Ruto was glaring, and Azimio brought it out. But Leo, you cannot lie your way into presidency and you still lie your way through it. These same people that are the young people who are revolting were the same people who are sold to lies. They were told everything. They were told the kind of jobs that were going to be given 100 and 100 days, was going to be done. And then later, in Ruto's regime, you notice the kind of impunity and the talk that was coming from the people apparently who were in power. You know, they did not care. They did not have. They did not have a little. You know, they did not have little sensitivity to Kenyans. And every time you could engage with them, some of them were becoming too gluttonous to the extent that they even showing it, you know, to Kenyans. And they had this kind of thing of mutadu. So I think Ruto's Ruto's soup was cooking slowly, and it was boiling. But Leo, one thing is happening, that even as he's navigating this, there's a political angle to it. All these people were rewarded. They were politicians, basically. And for some reason or another, you remember Gachagwa's statement that we are the ones who brought the big chunk of the vote. So you reward the people first, and then now you go to others. So you remember the shareholders' statement. So most of these people who are rewarded with cabinet positions was the idea of shareholding. But Leo, is it going to bring much change? For as long as Ruto is still the president, whatever cabinet you bring at the end of the day, it has to respond to what he says. You see, it is not like you're going to bring a cabinet and that cabinet is going to do what he doesn't want. Because at the end of the day, the buck still stops with him. The only, if a change is going to happen, new philosophy, new policy has to come from the ruling government of the day. And as long as we still have the ruling government of the day being UDA and Kenya Kwanza, you can shift, you can move the monkeys, bring others, but you still have the same forest, you know. You still have the same policy, the same bottom-up policy, the same things that Ruto want. Because according to him, he has often said that he knows where he wants to take the government, he knows where he wants to take Kenya. So even if we said, okay, he has dissolved the cabinet, those people who are going to come in, are they going to implement a new policy, a new philosophy, a new agenda? No way. It is still going to be what President Ruto wants. So I would, agree with those people who are saying that probably the only meaningful change can come when the top has changed. But it has political ramifications. It has its own political balancing, political ramifications, which we are going to await and see. But Leo, I want to bring you back to probably just bring this as a philosophical argument. It's not unique. It has happened before. And in the book, The Prince, Machiavelli says that if you are a prince and you want to rule, once you get the leadership, you don't rule with the same people that you have won the leadership with. You have to let off of them, get a new crop of people to help you rule. Because these people that you have gotten the leadership with, or they know you, they have learned you, they know your weaknesses. You are less likely to implement your ideas with them. So that probably is what had got Ruto. He actually put people in leadership who knew him. So sometimes probably maybe it was hard to communicate certain policy because some people say that Ruto is my friend. There's nothing you guys can do. I'm not going to implement that policy. So Machiavelli says that once you have won once the prince has gotten the leadership, the first thing you need to do is let off these people that you have come with. Get a new team that their only allegiance to you is out of fear. So the implementation of what you're doing is because they fear you, not because they know you. If you are to choose between fear and respect, fear and love, respect has to be implemented based on fear, not love. So Ruto was pleasing his people to love him. But you need to instill respect by fear. You don't know what he's going to do if you don't do what you're supposed to do. You see? So if he's going to have such a team, it's Machiavelli had already seen that. In political philosophy, you
Remember,
study that.
let me
Yes.
ask you, you know, when Ruto took power, of course, he subjected the country to an unreasonable spending when through the by-elections. We saw Kipchumba Murkomen had already won his seat in Elgeyo Marakwet. Alice Wahome had already won the seat. So he, Aden Duale had already won their seat. Kenyans were subjected to a by-election which was paid by taxpayers' money. So now, how do you think people like Kipchumba Murkomen will feel that they left a seat that be given them a mandate to be members of parliament and the senators for 5 years, only to be given a position of a cabinet secretary that has lasted only 2 years?
Now, that's a good question, Leo. You know, one thing, the lesson you need to pick out of that is be wary of appointed positions. You'd better go for elected positions. You know, when you're elected by the people, it is only the people that can recall you. But if you are appointed in any position, political position, you can be recalled anytime. So you can be fired anytime. So I think the reason they resigned by then, they were still having hang-ups from previous regimes and previous governance process, where once you become a cabinet secretary, as long as the president is your friend, you can serve up to the end. And you see that happened in previous regimes. But you see, they are wading into new waters. They didn't see themselves at any point that the people would have be so powerful that they can actually sway the decision of the president. You see, as late as 3 days ago, Kipchumba Murkomen was going to still, some studio places, still trying to persuade, it has not dawned in them that power is no longer in the position. Power is in the people. And people had made it so clear that they need changes. So I agree with you. It's a disappointment. I know they're regretting why they had to leave their positions, but you see, that was informed by the pertaining, existential governance structure that they had in their mind. To them, they didn't see any time that the president would wake up and say they're all fired. To them, they fought for that power, and you'll hear them saying that in every opportunity they got in meetings. They will tell people, you see, we fought for these things, and 2 years down the line, they would still remind people that, when Uhuru used to chase us, when the other government, we fought for these things. So they were still honeymooning. They didn't realize that a time comes when the honeymoon needs to stop, and then you need to start working. They had not gotten to that point. And then, of course, Leo, their misbehavior. It's okay for them to have gotten the power, but they really pushed it into the faces of the people. Their talk, the way they talk. And then, Leo, it's not how you get into power. It's what you do with the power. They have made it so hard for people to believe that they can achieve anything. And so there's a lot of there's a lot of dissatisfaction among the people, mostly the hustlers, that they'd sold the narrative that we are going to solve everything. We are going to make you guys have jobs. So what they have been seeing is promise after promise after promise. And of course, people become impatient. So I think, in my view, it's a disappointment for them. They will regret why they had to resign. And it's going to be a celebration to those people who came in and probably were elected in those positions. They are going, let's wait and see. Maybe some of them will make it back, because probably that is part of the reorganization, would include also bringing some of them who are probably, according to the president's estimation, were doing good. So probably you'll see some of them coming back. But overall, there are lessons that they are picking. If you ask me, Leo, anytime elected position is better than political appointee. If you are appointed into a political position, you are working at the mercy of the appointing authority.
I get you. I get you. I get you. Hey, I don't know what we are going to get to next because it's not the first time, and maybe Kenyan Mandamano. Why do you think that the president decided to leave Mudavadi's office? Yet people claim that Mudavadi's office is unconstitutional. Does it mean that this one now shows that this thing has taken some political angle? Now that Mudavadi ameachwa na wengine wameenda, is it not political?
Um, to my own thinking, I see like this would have been a lonely hyena in the bush left alone, kwa sababu unajua hapo kuna chui mwingine kashagwa, the person who they don't rhyme. Sababu huyu mkubwa alijaribu kufikiria, how can I be left here alone? I don't cope with this guy who is my deputy. We cannot, however, they might collaborate for them to make sure that they stand for one goal, since things have worked differently now. Because remember, Gachagua already had said that he has already gotten out and he was like isolated guy. But constitutionally, he is still the deputy of the president. But it's not that they are conjoined to the way that you'd like to work with a deputy or with your president. There is a kind of hypocrisy there, kind of how would these people live for now that there are no other people that he can talk to, or whoever want to talk to, you don't have a neighbor. And so the other thing I'm looking at is Mudavadi was the foreign minister, I think, foreign
Yes.
affairs, kind of. And so he could be being used to kind of get some kind of information, or maybe he can be sent somewhere, or how much have you found outside what is happening with the foreign countries, all this, because you want also to get in touch with outside so that you can know how you can cover yourself, guard yourself. That is my opinion, that is my thinking. And having seen these three people now seated there, they could be communicating to either see which way do we work so that we can make whatever we are looking at go down, because it's a gigantic thing that is in front of them. So three heads, maybe they can sit and unite themselves, they collaborate and see how can we move forward, which is this side. Because sometimes you become an enemy, but sometimes you become a friend, where I can ask you a question. And for this one, it's not an enemy of a neighbor. You are becoming enemies of a country which has got millions of people watching what you are doing. And so there comes a time whereby you have to swallow your pride and start asking the other person, what do you think? How can we move forward? Because right now, I don't think a person with the right mind should be thinking about how to get money or whatever. Now it's time to think, how can I get this properly done so that I don't get in trouble? Those are things now I should think they are looking at. It's not about I'm a president. It's not about I'm a deputy. It's about how can we get out of this mess? We have done a big thing by sending these people home. Now we are at our own. What are we going to do? So there is a big thing here. They are trying to figure out what to do, having to unite their mind and sort their problem together. see what is next and how they can get out of the mess. But I don't see out of the mess because things are not working well. Gen Z have stood on their ground that they are not going to be taken for a ride and that whatever they said should be done because they are the employer of these guys. And still they are the people who have done all this mess because I believe even the president himself cannot blame anybody since we can have all those clips of him lying to Kenyans and telling them where to go. If he was advised wrongly, he would have realized from the word go, the time people started complaining, what you promised has not happened. He had time to adjust himself, but he took it for a ride. And however, he took that I'm a president, I can continue doing what I want to do because I have the power. He once said that the sword that he was given si ya kukata mboga. And I wondered, how can somebody tell millions of people such kind of a thing? Watu walishtuka na wakashindwa, kwani tumeletewa nani huyu? Kwani wale walimchagua, kwani tumechagua nani huyu? Kwani ni muuaji? Because to say that sword is not for kukata mboga means whom are you going to cut? Hautakata miti nayo, si miti unaambia wanadamu, wananchi wa Kenya. So it has really backfired with him that whatever he was planning to do, it will not happen because wananchi ni wananchi na wana tofautiana na wana akili ya kufikiri, huyo amesema nini, anatenda nini, amefanya nini. Haya yote ambayo aliambilia Wakenya na hajatenda, it doesn't go that way. You cannot keep on telling people what you are going to do and you are not doing. And even furthermore, you are promising people and even people are getting more worse. The situation is getting more worse and you are promising what to do. And every day a new promise, every day a new promise. This comes to a conclusion that people are not with you now. Sababu huwezi kuniambia leo, kesho kutwa mtondogo kila siku hivi nitakufanyia hivi, na kesho kukikucha ile uliniambia jana hujafanya unaniambia leo tena ingine. I will start counting and I will see I'm heading nowhere. So for me, I'm thinking those three guys in the office. Mudavadi is a foreign affairs person, so he could be having something that he could give to the president, whoever. Gachagua cannot go away. That is a different office. Constitutionally, he is supposed to be there. So they are sitting there thinking twice. What do we do? I cannot tell what they are thinking because me, what I'm thinking, Mudavadi, Gachagua, advise your president, he must go. We cannot live with somebody who has no touch with the wananchi. Somebody who has never done anything for the wananchi except putting them into problems. Trouble after trouble after trouble. Na hii yote mtu ana create knowingly. Sababu hakuna nchi ingine nishaona mtu anaamuka anabomolea watu manyumba na hawana pahali ya kwenda. Mnakuwa promised mtapewa hizi pesa ambazo hawajapata. Tena hiyo pesa unapewa already ameweka taxation, ukipata hizo pesa zote zimeenda, utajisaidia aje? Ni nyumba ama ni chakula? It is pathetic. Kenya has become a war zone and it is made by the same people that we trusted that they are going to be catering for our state first. Mambo yote ambayo imefanyika, it is a conclusion that we don't have a government. Hata saa hii tuko na government gani? Which government do we have, Nyambaya? We don't have. We are in a shockwave that we can be able to take care of ourselves. And that is true. But we are ready to have a new, very new and fresh blood to lead this country in a better way. Na hiyo itafanyika, because we don't want this ati unatoa matope hapa unawekelea pahali ingine. It will remain matope hata wakati ukitoa hapo uweke kwa meza, ni matope tu. So these guys have learned about Kenyans and they have taken them for a ride for a long time, but we are not going to accept. And for that reason, I would just say, whatever they are doing in State House, maybe they are packing, I hope, and then they can move out, because nobody there is acceptable. Nobody there can tell us we are going to do this and that. There is no promise we are going to accept it this time round. And furthermore, we don't want promises, we want actions. Actions speaks louder than words. So we want actions. Usije kutuambia utatujengea hospitali, that we deserve it. Build it without telling us. Usituambie watoto watapata basari, au usituambie watoto wapate basari bila hata kusikia na mtu. Everything will move smoothly when all these things are done without shouting, without promises. Nyambaya, you don't have to come and tell me ati nitakununulia gold, shanga ya gold. Surprise me. That's the most important thing. Usije kutoka, afadhali Nyambaya, hawa watu afadhali wangekuwa already wamefanya mambo ya kujenga vitu, turudi tuambiwe, nakumbuka zile pesa nilibeba pahali fulani, ndizo hizi. And this is the accountability of this building. Imagine we are told that we owe money. What do we have in Kenya? What do we have? What have they shown us?
It's really a sad state, eh?
Huh?
It's really a sad state. We owe money and we don't even know how much we owe. We don't like.
And the other thing, Nyambaya, I noted, these people came there, exposing themselves. Some have got almost, some had $1 billion worthy. They are billion worthy. Others are 993 millions worthy. I mean, they were all billionaires and millionaires. Do you expect those people who have money like that to feel your pinch?
No.
Never. Mtu akiwa ni mtajiri ni mmoja kwa 100 ambaye anaweza fikiria habari ya maskini. The rest are boasting people. And that is why you see these people, they never cared about the mwananchi in Kenya. They didn't even think about us. Vile walikuwa so much worth. Nimesikiza hiyo mambo yote, nimeandika. I wrote down here. They are all millionaires. You wonder, why were they going there for? Huh? What were they going there for?
Some of them did not have that money. They were writing so that when they steal, you don't ask them.
Exactly. And that is my question is, if you have such much money, why bother go to work? Do your business that you have been doing. Let those who are qualified, who have nothing, go there. Because hata kuwa mtajiri bado you want some more. That is greediness. That is greediness. Na tena hiyo kujitangaza, kweli kabisa ni hivyo Nyambaya umesema, so that if I steal, you will know that I was a millionaire before, so you cannot question me. But where was the Kenyan money going? These people, maybe even they didn't have that much money, I'm telling you. They didn't have it. What they were planning is what they have done already. Stealing. Sudi alikuwa how worthy? I didn't see him. However, he's a parliamentarian. He's a senator, whatever he is. But how much was he worthy when he was going there? We know him. And now he is maybe a billionaire. Because people who are buying choppers, they are flying all over, going to work, and in the morning, in the evening, they are going back home in choppers, their own choppers. Where did they get this money? If you count this money that people have collected or stolen, we don't owe anything to anybody. That's the money we owe outside, which is in people's pockets, not for any infrastructure, is in their pocket. And that is where the pain is. We owe and we have nothing. We cannot have a tangible thing that we can say, okay, because we owe you 100 million, you can take this building. There is nothing, nothing. So what do? We sell our land? That won't happen, because that is like welcoming colonizers in our country, because that is where you got the money. And I don't understand why most countries in Africa, they feel very comfortable taking loans every now and then from these foreign banks, and they have had the history. And yet there is somebody claiming that we shall live on our own means. And yet we have this big burden of loans. How did it happen? So when you look at all these, hii mambo yote tulikuwa tunapewa ni mshene, ni ya kutuweka hapa ndio wao waweze kupata hizi mali, na nani hajapata? Hata hao wako kwa ofisi right now. Those three guys, they have squandered a lot of money from Kenyans. They cannot say that the cabinet secretaries are the one who knows where the money went, or politicians, they know where the money went. They are the most who have the most. So for Kenyans, we are not reasoning with them. We are reasoning that they must go, and then we can have squeeze them, bring our money back, pay the loan that you took, because it never serviced Kenyans, it serviced you. I will stop there just for a while, Nyambaya. I can't hear you. Nyambaya, your mic is mute. You're still mute.
Food, basic necessities, food, water, jobs, for them to continue living as human beings. And then somebody blows their head with a machine gun. These are some of the things we're not going to forget. Yeah, it has come too late. We did tell President Ruto during the first Gen Z protest that the very best thing for you to do right now to de-escalate the situation is dissolve your cabinet, but he never listened. We told him several times. We wrote articles and all that, but he left the dockyard. So we are looking at, we are stepping on his doorstep to tell him just to ship out. So it's too late right now. So Gen Z's, congratulations. You guys, we need, my request is that all the comrades who died, we need their plaques in parliament. We need their names to be inscribed somewhere. Before anyone actually enters parliament, is supposed to see that Rex died fighting for justice, because that is why we have parliament. Parliament is there to fight for the justice, to make laws for people to thrive in a country. So thank you very much. I'll be giving an elderly approach or advice as we continue with this particular discussion. So any questions, Marge, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much. And now we proceed to Engineer, and then to Engineer Eric, and then to 5-4 for life.
Thank you very much. Confirm if you can hear me. Nice. Yeah. Oh, okay. For me, I've been thinking as we do.
I think.
Engineer, could you kindly find?
Not me.
Mute him, and we move forward. Also, the co-host should also mute so that we have decorum here. Co-host, KDRT.
Me, I'm muted, sir. I understand this.
It was actually Stephen who was not muted. Stephen Njogu, I've muted you now. So, engineer, kindly proceed.
You hear me now?
Yes.
But it was not my house. That was not my house.
I know it was Stephen. So, kindly proceed.
Yeah. So.
Okay, this is the last warning. If you don't mute your mic when you're on the panel, I'm going to have to remove you because you will be then distracting the conversation. I think it's common sense that when one gets on, they have to mute your mic. So you don't
It's
mute
Michael, Mudge. It's Michael, and he's still on mute. I think it was the noise was coming from Michael.
Okay, so 254, engineer, proceed, and then 254. Engineer Eric? Okay, 254.
Thank you, Madge. I hope you can hear me. Thank you. Once again, thank you for the space. Thank you even for the co-hosts. It's been another opportunity to share space with you, Madge. So I'm really glad to hear of the support that the diaspora has been giving. So I give a very big up to you for that. And just to mention to everyone who's listening, if you're all observant, there's a lot of spaces going on around, and I think they're mushrooming up left, right, and center, but they're all talking about the same thing, which is the elephant in the room that Ruto must go. And I think that is the underlying message and the underlying tone that everyone is going with. But I'll begin my submission by saying that I know my wife calls me a critic, but I take this as cautious optimism, simply because the you don't need NIS officials, you don't need intelligence to tell you that the country is not in a right place. So I feel like even if you go to my timeline, I feel like all these addresses are coming in a day late and a dollar short, and they're really just creating more tension than solutions. And so much as, yes, we're happy that the cabinet has been fired, I think progressively the Gen Z have given us an idea, me being as a millennial, that we should look at every aspect of governance more critically. And I refer to the Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo, who mentioned that the CJ should either shape up or ship out. So for me, the long-term game would be, one, you've gotten the cabinet secretaries out. Yes, that's fine. Next would be the MPs. Recall as many MPs as possible, because even this so-called dialogue, it's the political elite playing politics. I am a student of political theory, so I believe there's aspects to politics that a lot of people forget, that when one politician is threatened, they will gang up against the people who are threatening them. So it's a different kind of colonialism. It's Afro-colonialism, as I call it, because as you can see, we now have the opposition joining government and saying, let's dialogue. But none of these Gen Zs asked for a dialogue. They were very clear about what they wanted. It's taking, it seems, a whole month or so to just effect one simple thing. And so I believe what Ruto is doing is just measuring the scale. Now that the Gen Z had called for a mass protest on the 16th, that he will dissolve cabinet and read the room again, see if the temperatures calm down. But I think every one of you can see that there's another call for, okay, we've sent them home, but we need to audit them. We need accountability. Even as much as they are gone, we need to audit them. So that presents also another cry for accountability, another cry for openness, and another cry for honesty, which I believe people are feeling like we do not trust anything that Ruto says. And that is the temperature in the room. And so I'll end my first submission there. Hopefully I'll get the mic again. But I'd like to hear what other people think, because I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also happy that progress is being made one by one.
And I hope we continue with that kind of support. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Let's go to graduate.
Well, thank you much. Well, I want to first to submit my gratitude to the diaspora guys for being supportive to the movement. You girls, you have the option of just staying there and saying that, well, where I am, there is peace, economy is working, but thank you for remembering that Kenya is your motherland. Secondly, the president, or rather Ruto, has just these chess games again today. That guy is so calculative. It's, we may celebrate and they celebrate.
Somebody, Gibson is asking some good question that assume that Ruto is gone, then who will take over peacefully? Gibson, I think according to our constitution, if today the office of the president becomes vacant, maybe through the president resigning, I doubt if William Ruto can resign, through death, no, that one is God forbid, or impeachment, which I also doubt if the compromised parliament and the Senate can be able to impeach him, then the deputy president serves the remaining term. There is nothing like a referendum in our current setup of the constitution. The only thing that the constitution does not talk of is when we have a civilian coup, of which civilian coup is also constitutional, but the constitution does not address it directly, because the civilian coup is when citizens now decide that, okay, this power, Article 1, the sovereign power belongs to us, we delegate it through elections, but now we want it back. So that's a civilian coup. What you saw people demonstrate and they go to State House and force Ruto outside, then I think that is the big question that Kenyans should start asking. But having known Kenyans and maybe how peaceful they are conducting their demonstrations, I don't think they can do mistakes that people did in Libya or the ones that you've seen being done in countries like Sudan or Somalia that made them be unstable up to date. So, Mohamed, I don't know, what is your take on that? People have been saying, okay, tunasema Ruto must go. What happens if Ruto have gone? What is likely to take place?
Nyabaya, I don't think we are short of
Yes.
president in Kenya. We are not.
Yeah.
I wish he can just quit like right now. You'll see. It won't take a long time to get somebody fixed there. So there should be not somebody boasting that I'm the only one who can guide the Kenyans. No. So let them stay knowing that we are not short of people who can be good president in Kenya. They are there, plotting, good people, ready as from day one. And you'll feel that greatness of having someone who is ready to lead Kenyans. And it is good that this very time, people are very keen and careful who to put there and what we should guide the person, because we don't want to learn such kind of a lesson again. It's terrible, torturing, mentally, disturbing, but nobody should sit and say that who is going to lead Kenya. If you can't, I can. Okay? If you can't, I can. So no question about that. If you feel we don't have anybody to lead Kenya, we can lead ourselves rather than having such kind of chaos that we have been having all this time. And furthermore, this kind of mentality of feeling like somebody must come from here or must be from here, that one is no more. We have seen that we are tribeless right now. We are partiless. There are even, let me tell you, Nyambaya, there are even people, let's talk sincerely and with honesty. There are people even from UDA who can be good to work with Wananchi. he can come from anywhere. Because let's take an example of Mushomba. Mushomba is from UDA. What has she done? She has stood with her people and she said no to the oppressor. Those are people. So let's not put our minds that who will lead. Hakuna mtu amewekwa hapo permanent na akikufa,
Get you.
even without us telling him to get out. How about if he die? Tutakaa bila. Sangine, we have to reason like people who are really working hard in their mind to make a decision that you cannot live being oppressed ati ndio uwe na kiongozi. I better live without. So we want to have a peaceful country, our motherland, Kenya, with a person who the passion towards the wananchi wale wamemwandika, awapee heshima na awapee kile kinawahusu accordingly, because they deserve it and they work hard for it. I think that is what I would say.
I think the person who asked that question, that one has really been responded to. We are having so many people who can become leaders in Kenya. It is not only William Ruto who can become president. There are so many Kenyans, young, experienced, and even the ones who are not young, but we are having Kenyans who can fit in that position. So we are not short of leaders. The only problem is that the politicians who've been there have held us captive until we don't think that there are people who can also be able to maybe hold that position. Also been saying that one day this land will be returned. I know a lot of things have been happening. I've seen there are so many things that need to be cleaned in this country, and the people are now calling on the president that is next now after dissolving the cabinet. He also need to dissolve himself. That is, he also need to resign and pave way for fresh elections so that Kenyans can be able to elect people who are responsible. Because we know, even if he's given another chance to appoint a new cabinet, we will still get people who are maybe same to the ones that we are having before. So what we need to say is that we need to thank Kenyans who really pushed for this, and the Kenyans should not give up until the whole swamp has been drained. Of course, we have to drain the swamp, and we have to ensure that Kenyans get good leadership. So Black, at least I've seen you there on the comment section. So let me also allow you to say your view on what has happened today.
Can I say something before Black come in? Black, I'm sorry. How are you? Yeah, I just wanted to say something like
It's okay. It's okay.
already hata huyo mwenye ako kwa kiti has felt that I am not capable. Why do I say that? Because the way he was trying to have Raila, come here, let's talk, let's have dialogue. Somebody has felt like I've done something here and I want to untangle myself from it. So for me, I want to discuss this thing and then we can work together, because it is in the open. It's exposed that they wanted to work together, a joint government. Why? Are you not able to lead your people? You want other people to come in? And the other thing that portrays that he is weak. Why did he have to buy this parliamentarian to be on his side? He didn't have enough. And why should you use taxpayers' money to buy their people to come to your side? Because you are weak. You don't have enough capacity to do what you are doing. And furthermore, if he lived the way he had his 5 MPs or senators or whatever, and the majority are on the other side, and he says that this is what we are going to do, and it doesn't go through, he should accept that, because he has no capacity of changing people's mind for them to follow him. So for me, I feel he's so wicked and he's so weak, and he cannot be ruling us in such a way that we work so hard outside here, and what we bring to him to stand with us, he takes it all and put it on his side. We cannot be working for him. We work for him when we are paying him his salary, but he cannot be taking what we have reaped to keep us going, and then what we have harvested to keep us going, and then he takes it away. That is what I feel like he is not capable of leading a country. Thank you. Welcome, Black. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Black, you can proceed. Black and mute, huh?
He's saying he's having
Lydia is
some
saying that most of
challenges.
the people that we have at the moment are power hungry. We need someone authentic with the heart. So maybe Lydia, you can also propose that person that you think is authentic and is having heart. Because I think Kenya is having so many leaders. We are having people like Okiya Mtatas. You've seen these people in public, and you've seen them always serving the public interest. These are people that we cannot doubt their service. We cannot doubt their contribution to the development of this nation. So maybe we can't just wish away and say, all right, you see, like we don't have somebody that can be able to maybe replace Ruto. No, Ruto was not the best after all. It's just that he had majority, but he wasn't the best, and his majority is also questionable because and you remember very well the election was disputed, meaning even that majority that he claims to be having is also questionable. We are not sure whether he had those people or he was voted or he was not voted. So we cannot wish away 50 million Kenyans that are there. Even you can be able to take part in it. Ruto is not weak. He has people who like his camp and enjoying the loot together, including Raila. Politics is a business. Black, I get you. I'm also having a similar a problem. I was looking for Bonnie so that instead of ending the stream and starting another one, but it seems I'll have to end it and start another one because this one I see is having some challenges. So you don't worry. Okiya Mtata is your man. I think that one makes some sense, but I'll have to
Okay.
like
Yeah,
end this
Nyambaya,
stream and start another one. Yes.
it reaches a time that I'll not say my candidate, because you see with this kind of rogue government, you may tend to say Nyambaya is my take, and then
Yes.
tomorrow he's kidnapped and we are no
Exactly.
longer. Yeah, so it's good to keep Mtata amezoeshwa matabu mingi sana. So naweza sema Omtata, because Omtata is that man that really stands, left standing. But for now, people are going to be mum until that time comes, so that we can shout out. But having known what is going on, and we are not sleeping in one cube, everybody disperse and go home, then you are picked by yourself, nobody to rescue you, nobody to know where you have been taken. So it's so sad. So we just keep quiet until that time come, and it is coming. Freedom is coming. Thank you, Nyambaya. If you are closing, then I'll check where I'll look around and see where you are.
I have some challenge with my computer. It's getting off in the next like 20 minutes. So I just have to refresh and create another feed. So I know you'll get alerted once the other one has been created.